Hi folks, it's Danwood Islam from the Elite Tigers group here, and welcome to another training session. In this video I want to talk about email marketing, because a question that I often get asked is how often should I mail to my list, how should I mail to my list, and all this sort of stuff. So if that's a subject that interests you, we're going to give a brief overview of it. If you're interested in getting regular training from me, regular free training, do click on the button underneath to subscribe. You'll be added to my YouTube channel and be notified every time I bring a recording out. I do reviews as well, product reviews. This isn't a product review, so this is just a straightforward training, but you will get the whole gamut of releases if you click on that subscribe button, so I'll be pleased if you do. Now, I'm actually going to be putting together a whole course on this subject called Email Eagles, or Eagle Emails, sorry, let's get it right, which has got a provisional release date of January the 15th. But for now, I wanted to give a brief overview. So let's look at some of the things that we can take as a given. So when it comes to engagement with your email list, the first thing to say is that let's have a baseline of saying that you have to email your list at least once a week. So there isn't anyone that's doing email marketing that would disagree with that particular opening statement. And then from there onwards, we go on to different levels of engagement. But if you have an email list and you're not emailing it at least once a week, then really you do not have an email list. You know, however much you might think you have, you don't have one, because if you're not emailing at least once a week, those people have short memories. They're being bombarded with content from people all the time into their email inboxes, and they will not have a clue who you are if you are engaging with them on a less frequent basis than once a week. So there's a baseline that says that once a week is an absolute minimum, and then from there onwards we go up to various things. So there are different schools of thought. There's the 2 to 3 times a week approach, and a lot of, well, I wouldn't say, no, that's probably wrong. I was going to say super affiliates sometimes email 2 or 3 times a week, but that isn't correct. What they actually do is that they would only mail 2 or 3 offers a week, which is something different, but they would still be actually emailing those offers every single day. A lot of people mail once every day. That would be fairly common. I mean, there'd be a huge number of marketers that would come into that category. And then there are people that mail more often than that, or that have different patterns of emailing. So I know a lot of you, for example, are on John O. Armstrong and Brendan Macy's email lists, and you will see a pattern there with them around launches, where you may actually go on occasions 1 or 2 days without receiving an email from Brendan and John O. And then over the period of a launch, you will then get a cluster of emails. So they'll be promoting a particular product. You'll get a preview email. You will get an email to remind you that a review's coming into your inbox. You will then get the actual review arrive. You'll then get notifications that the cart is going to open for that particular product. Sometimes you'll get a notification half an hour before, and then when the cart actually opens, and then another reminder a couple of hours later that the cart's open and maybe the bonuses are running out. So you could get sort of 5 emails over a pretty short period of time. At the other extreme of the argument, you would have marketers like the South African marketer, very successful by the way, Saul Moraney, who emails up to sort of 10 times a day plus. Yeah. Now most people would say that that's over the top, but it works for him, and he doesn't lose a huge amount of subscribers from his list, because people quickly get into the pattern. They realize that Saul is going to be a guy that is going to be emailing them a lot. Yeah. And if they don't like that, obviously they disappear, but most people just accept it. Now, I would personally say that that is over the top. I think most people wouldn't disagree with that, because you're emailing so many different offers now. You know, the approach from Saul will probably be, let's chuck everything at it, and some of it is going to stick. You know, that would be the reason why he follows that particular approach. But my opinion would be that probably in the general run of the mill things, then 1 or maybe 2 emails a day is about right. And as I said, you can sometimes increase that if there's something mega going on. So, you know, one email a day in the normal run of things. If it's a very busy period or there's something really exciting going on, I think you can justify mailing more than once a day. I have a general rule that unless there were absolutely exceptional circumstances, that I would never mail more than 3 times in a day. That would be my sort of absolute. And it's quite rare these days that I email 3 times a day. And again, another thing is that you want to change the way that you email according to particular lists. So there's definitely a case for mailing people less when they first get onto your list, so that you can build a relationship with them. So, for example, when people first buy a product off of me, then I try for at least the first month or so to never mail them more than once a day, so that gives them time to sort of find out what I'm about and the sort of content that I'm sending them. Whereas people that have known me for a couple of years, that are members of my Elite Tigers group sites, you know, they're used to getting loads of content in their inboxes anyway, because as members of my sites, they get solo ads sent to them from my other members. So really with that group, you know, mailing them 3 or even 4 times a day isn't going to be an issue, because they're getting a lot of content from other members of the Elite Tigers group into their email inboxes anyway. Now, in terms of what you should be emailing and how you should be engaging, as I said, I will go into this a lot more when I actually make a full course on it, and obviously I'll go into individual emails and all sorts of stuff there, and different types of email, different types of approaches. But generally speaking, you should be looking to build a relationship by giving value. Now, it might sound strange, but it's actually easier when you've got fewer people on your list and when you're just starting out in email marketing to get this right, even though that's when most people get it wrong, because they say, oh, I just don't know what to say, I don't know what to give them, I don't know what to do. It's actually harder when you're into a full-time situation like me, where there's pressures every day. And there's pressures obviously on a bottom line figure on a chart as well every day from a financial point of view, which means that I have to engage in a certain amount of income generating activities every day, and that always has to be the priority. So my activity is always going to be driven by having to make sales on any given day, because that's the stage that I'm at the moment. You can probably, when you get to real super affiliate status, you can probably take your foot off the gas a little bit and relax your approach. But it's in this sort of middle stage when you've relatively recently gone full time that obviously you've just got to keep driving the bottom line. So it becomes harder to do the engagement stuff at that stage, because I mean, this is a situation where I have emailed this out. So this is an occasion where I've sent an email to my members that is giving value and it isn't selling anything. So that's good. But you should be looking to do this as much as possible. So if you've got PLR and other stuff that you can give away, then that is great. You should do that on a regular basis, so that there's an incentive for people to open an email, because they never know what they're going to find in it. And it might be something that's to their benefit. So if they regularly get things from you that are interesting, that provide free content, then they're more likely to open up other emails from you as well, because they're going to be interested to see, oh, I wonder if this guy's got anything for me today. Well, it turns out it's just actually an offer, but then when he reads it, it's a good offer anyway, so he ends up buying it, you know. So So that is the sort of key behind all of this. So when I say about giving value, it's good if you yourself start providing some sort of training, because even if you're a relative newbie, if you are a relative newbie, then the type of people that you get onto your email list are pretty likely to be people that are even newer than you, or are your sort of level. So there are bound to be things that you can advise them on that they don't know already. Now, I say the best way to engage with them is to actually record a video like I'm doing now, which obviously you can do completely free of charge on YouTube. It's not something that's going to cost you any money. And I would give a little tutorial like this on a different aspect of affiliate marketing. And then you will quickly become a mentor type figure to the people on your list by doing that. Now, if you are at this stage uncomfortable of putting yourself on camera, then you can also do it in written form. So, you know, you can show them a step-by-step guide on how to do a particular aspect of affiliate marketing or internet marketing. Or if you're a member of my Elite Tigers group, you know, and you're attracting other people from similar type websites, you could send them a little mini guide on how to set up and send a solo email ad inside a mailer or something like that. Little tips and tricks like that are all worthwhile sharing. In terms of what do I recommend at the moment in getting good advice on particular types of emails and all the rest of it, there are 3 books that I'm going to share with you today. The first one is this one here, which is, hope you can see this, let me take my hand out of the way, Renegade Email Marketing. Renegade Email Marketing. Let's get it in the correct camera spot. And that is from Irish marketer John Mulrye. John Mulrye, the Irish marketer. I like this because it's very nicely illustrated. Yeah, it's not a sort of plain, boring black and white book. There's lots of photos and illustrations in here and graphs all the way through. And he's a really interesting guy, and I think that you will find this book really useful. It's very easy to read, lots of good tips and hints in there. So that is my sort of one of my first starting points that I would recommend. So I always like to recommend books. I know that it's becoming a bit of a dying art now, reading physical books, but I actually think if you're looking at content all the time on your screen, you'll get distracted by pop-ups, social media stuff, all sorts of things, yeah? The best thing to do to actually learn, I think still, and I know it's because of my age partly, and because I worked in the print industry and because I'm a journalist, but I do think that there's something to be said from getting physical books and reading them and taking yourself away from the computer, putting you somewhere where you can't be distracted, you know, go in your bedroom or wherever, or go if you've got a back garden and a shed out there or whatever, wherever it is in your particular space that you go to get away from the world, you know, go there with the book and just chill out reading the book, and you will find that the information you get from it is a lot more valuable. And the other 2 are List Building Lifestyle, Confessions of an Email Millionaire from Igor Kefitz. Now, Igor is the king of solo ads. I mean, he's made his millions really from solo ads, and that's just a sort of brief introduction to email marketing. And that is a very useful book as well, so I'm going to recommend that one. And my third read is this one that's come out most recently of the 3, which is from someone in Russell Brunson's stable. Russell, of course, you'll be familiar with, is the king of ClickFunnels. And this is by a guy called Jim Edwards, and it's called Copywriting Secrets: How Everyone Can Use the Power of Words to Get More Clicks, Sales and Profits, no matter what you sell or who you sell it to. So that is my that's my recommended reading list. I would recommend that you pick up all of those actually, but if you can only afford one, John Mulrye's Renegade Email Marketing is the one that I would steer you towards. So that is in terms of some ideas on how to get detailed information and training on email marketing. In terms of what you should say on a day-to-day basis, so I think that if you're engaging with your list to try and, you know, get sales from them, then you want to be, again, still trying to offer some additional value beyond that, because one thing that you absolutely, okay, let's take that back a step. One thing that you absolutely shouldn't do, in my opinion, is just repeat the standard email swipes that you get given for a particular offer. So you know that if you're promoting an affiliate offer, or if you're promoting another website, then inside the affiliate tools for that, or the promotional JV page, the JV doc, whatever, you will have a list of email swipes that you can send out, and they are supposedly to send to your list so that they will buy that particular product. Now, it's very, very rare that I would ever use any of those email swipes, because firstly, they're written by someone else, so they're not written in your usual speech patterns. They're also written in a way that everyone else is going to be copying and pasting that same email. So if you go to your email inbox in a mailer, you've probably got 5 or 6 emails with a particular headline, and they've all got exactly the same wording inside, so it's obvious that they've copied the email swipe. Another thing is just generally, even when I'm selling stuff, I always try and personalize it, and I always try and add some little preamble or story to my emails. So I always tell people, generally, if I've got time, unless I'm exceptionally pushed, I tell them what I've been up to that day. If I'm having a good day, if I'm having a bad day, I'm always totally honest with people. I don't think it's feasible to sort of always be up with people and say, oh, aren't things great, you know, oh, what a brilliant day and all this, because, you know, life isn't like that. And it almost certainly isn't like it in their lives, and you know, they could almost become resentful if this guy always seems like super happy. He's emailing me, he's always so positive, you know. Now don't get me wrong, you know, there's all sorts of stuff about having a positive mental attitude, and all that stuff is right. You know, you absolutely do have to keep a positive mindset in this business, because it's a very lonely business. You know, you're working just, you know, on your own. If you've left your 9 to 5, it really is just you and the world. So, you know, you have to motivate yourself, but I think it's always fair to be honest with people. So if you had an absolutely dreadful day, you know, if the cat's died, which one of mine did recently, you know, tell people about it, you know, show your humanity to people. If things, you know, there's degrees of personality that you need to tell, and I mean, it's up to you how far you go with that. I mean, I know some email marketers, one comes to mind in particular, that is very, very frank in his emails. Now, I personally wouldn't go that far. I mean, he's been emailing this year with issues, you know, he's talking about mental health issues in his family. He's been talking about a period where he nearly had a breakup with his partner, and he was actually out of the family home for a period, and then he went back, and all of this was actually detailed. Now, most people would say, whoa, I don't want to go that far into my personal life. But the people that are on that guy's email list, they really do know him, you know. And I think as a result of his frankness, you know, he got a lot of supportive emails back when he was having those issues, you know, and people, he became a friend to those people because he was prepared to show his humanity. And I think that that is actually really important. Now, as I said, I don't go quite as far as that, but, you know, I did share details of my cat dying, for example, earlier this year, which was, you know, quite an emotional experience for me. And I've shared other things like when I've been really fed up and had a really bad day, you know, or when I've been really under pressure for different things, and I've always shared that. And when things are going really well, obviously I celebrate it as well, and hopefully my list celebrate it with me when things are going well, when we can celebrate things that have gone well. So the key to all this is just to be yourself and actually to show your humanity. And far too few people do that in emails, in my opinion. Far too many people are just looking to make a sale. And if the content in your email is only about the particular thing that you're looking to promote, then that approach, in my opinion, is not going to get you very far. Yeah, it may well get you some sales, yeah, because the content obviously is important. But I think being yourself and trying to get that humanity coming across is more important than anything. Other than that, try and understand your list, obviously. You know, if your list is predominantly in the make money online niche, then it probably isn't going to be worthwhile sending them stuff on, like, you know, pet products or diet products. Now that might sound blindingly obvious, but you need to find the subtleties of your list, and you will find that certain things play better than others. So just for example, you know, although I do still send out offers in these subjects because some people are interested, my list are not particularly interested in CPA type products, and not that engaged by anything to do with Facebook and social media marketing, yeah, compared to others. They really, on the other hand, they really do like list building stuff. You know, anything to do with list building, they really love. They quite like PLR stuff, private label rights stuff. And they like sort of done for you copy and paste type products where all they have to do is share a URL. So if you've got something that doesn't include a lot of technical setup, where you can get like a done for you site which you can just share, then they really like that sort of stuff. So it's all about knowing your list, and you find this out over time. So if I was to send stuff out about promoting a product to do with webinars, for example, very unlikely that my list would be all that interested in that. And it's you will, over a period of time, you will know your list, and you'll know what works really well, and then you'll know what to promote more than others. So a particular product will come out and you'll just know straight away that this is absolutely perfect for my list, and then you can push that really hard. And another one will come out, okay, that isn't really that great a fit. There's a few people that might like it. I'll maybe just mail once about that. But the one that you know that they really love, then you can, you know, maybe send 3 or 4 emails on that particular product, because you know that there are going to be people that pick it up each time. That's another thing, just before I wrap up, to say as well, that you have to remember why people send 3 or 4 emails. And that's because most people don't open emails, yeah? So a tip, you in the current climate, you're doing very, very well if you get an open rate of 10%, very well indeed. So it might seem, well, why is this person just sending around the same offer 3, 4, 5 times? The reason is that each time that person sends that offer out, it's being looked at by different people. Now, okay, some people open every email that they're sent, and that might be a bit boring for them because they think, oh, this guy keeps banging on about this offer, I've already bought it, or I'm already not interested, or whatever it is. But there are people that will not have seen it, so there are different people. And there are people that buy on the second time or the third time of actually being exposed to an offer. That's why people do retargeting ads, yeah, because it's proven to work. And the reason for that is that they might look into it and they were a little bit interested, but the interest wasn't quite peaked. And then it comes out to them a second time and they think, I did actually have a look at that. I was quite interested, but I'm not quite sure. And then the third time they get an email, and then that is then quite unusual for their marketer to send them 3. So then they actually become, okay, now if this guy has sent me this 3 times, he doesn't normally do that. So I know that this is something that he's really, really recommending, rather than, you know, just saying this is good or this is okay. If he's written to me 3 or 4 times, then I know that he's really, really recommending this product, yeah? So I was quite interested the first time, but now as he's pushing it so much and he's clearly really thinks it's good for me, then I think I will take a punt on it. So that is some of the mentality as to why it's important to do that. But you should only do that if you genuinely think that what you're pushing is really good for people, yeah? Because people won't appreciate it if you push them to take something and then they buy it and it's awful. Yeah, obviously, yeah? I mean, you shouldn't sell anything that's awful. I mean, I have some of you, well, obviously you've seen my YouTube channel if you're watching this on YouTube now, but you will know that I have a scoring system for products that I review. And that scoring system goes out of 5 stars. And if anything doesn't reach at least 3.5 stars, which obviously makes it a good product, because that would then be in like the top 70% or whatever, then I won't review it. It's simple as that. If anything, you know, if I look at something and I will give it 3 stars or less, I don't do a review. 100% simple as that. So everything I review is at least 3.5, and it has to be a pretty good 3.5 even. So and probably I would only review a 3.5 star product if there really isn't that much going on that particular day. If you will look, you will see that virtually all of the stuff that I review is 4 stars plus. There will be occasions when I'll review a 3.5 star product. Maybe it was quite a quiet day, or there weren't many launches around that period, so I thought, okay, I will put this out there because it's still good. But generally speaking, and your list will appreciate you for that, because there's nothing worse than having someone peddling crap to them. You know, you will quickly lose people off your list and lose engagement if you do that on a regular basis. So you have to only recommend stuff to people that you personally think that it's worth their while buying. And that is where I'm going to wrap things up for today. So I hope that you found this useful. I will just flag these books up just in case some of you didn't have a pen and paper handy earlier. So let's go back on them in reverse order. So Copywriting Secrets by Jim Edwards is the first one. The second one is List Building Lifestyle by Igor Kefitz. I'm not sending you any links for these, by the way, so I'm not trying to sell them to you. I'm just recommending that you should take them. Renegade Email Marketing, John Mulray. And the only link, and I'm doing this for a reason, the only link I am going to put down is because it's a course that I've learned stuff from and that I'm actually redoing at the moment. As I said, I'm going to do my own course on email marketing, but recently, one of my favourite marketers, an Irish marketer called Kevin Fahey, brought out a course called Commission 5, which it's called 5 because it looks at 5 of the ways that people normally engage with their audience when they're doing affiliate marketing, whether that's review videos, whether that's email marketing, whether it's other stuff, yeah. And how they can refine those techniques and make it better. Now, the email marketing bit of that is really, really good. And Kevin actually reevaluated all of his business earlier this year, and he found that his email marketing rates had really dipped from what they used to be. So he went through a re-engagement process, and that's what one of the things that he covers in Commission 5. But the reason I'm mentioning it is that if you're looking beyond email marketing and you want a general course that will show you how to refine all of the techniques that you normally do when you're in affiliate marketing and get 10 times better results, then Commission 5 is the best product that I've seen this year to do that. And the section on email marketing in it is really, really strong. You will find that you get much, much better results if you follow Kevin's techniques. So I will actually put a link on that underneath, just in case you want to check it out. As I said, I personally think it's one of the strongest affiliate marketing products that's come out this year. And you know, I've watched Kevin's results on leaderboards this year as well, and since he had that change in the middle of the year, his results have started significantly improving. So so I know that the techniques have worked, and I've just started going through the email part of the course, and I'm going to start making some changes in the way that I do email marketing. So just keep an eye out. Tell me if you notice any subtle differences in the approach. But that's really it. I will be bringing out one more general video before Christmas, actually, just with a sort of looking back on the year from the Elite Tigers group. So a message from the group. If you're watching this some other time of year, obviously that's pretty irrelevant, but I just happened to have recorded this on the 20th of December 2019. So I hope you found that useful. Any comments, questions, you know, do let me know. If you want help with anything, I will try and help if I can. And I hope that you found that useful. Have a great day, and I'll be back with another training video very soon. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more content like this. Cheers, thanks, bye.